Hello, Troy A. Shadowing Tronics taking part in your Soundoff challenge. Hopefully I won't need this. Um, this one is a bit late compared to my usual posting schedule. My back was bothering me Sunday, and I really was just busy taking care of that. Um, but let me ask this question to you guys. What is with the obsession right now with shared universes? I mean, okay, Marvel's got a success at it. Comic books have had shared universes for the longest time. DC, Marvel, Image is semi-connected. Valiant Universe, Malibu started their own Ultraverse for a while, and you always have some shows that are put in a crossover or two if they share a creator and a distribution company, especially if they're on the same network. But at the same time, they did cross over a show that was on Fox and on ABC because they were made by the same people. And of course, you got your Law and Orders and spinoffs, but that's like spinoffs, that's sequels. That's fine. I perfectly understand when NCIS teams up with the other NCIS. But everything has to be a shared universe now in retelling. And what's getting me on this is, those of you who don't know, some time ago Hasbro basically bought the Power Rangers license, so they now own the Power Rangers franchise. And now there's talk of making a shared movie verse with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Mask and whatever other properties they can fit in. And then including Power Rangers. I just don't think these things all need to be in the same universe. And I know Transformers and G.I. Joe have been tied in together for the longest time, but I don't think everything has to be shared. IDW tried sharing a bunch of Hasbro properties, but then they rewrote a whole bunch of things. So Mask was not the Mask I grew up with, wasn't even close. So I kind of lost interest in it pretty quick, even though I thought it was on it as its own idea. If it had been like the next generation of Mask and they were doing it this way, I almost could go with it. But everything else has to be shared because of the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But look how badly it's failed. Universal Studios tried to do that, starting a dark universe with their monster characters, and they basically did the shared universe, decades before Marvel did with their Universal monsters. But they couldn't get the dark universe off the ground. And I'm not against the idea of a shared universe. I just don't think that everything needs to be in a shared universe. We have all these little cinematic universes. It's not important to me. And just going by all the things I've collected over the years, I could probably put together 3 or 4 shared universes, but I'd also want to have stories that aren't part of either of those universes. Where there wouldn't be a crossover because it just wouldn't fit. So all these things. Oh great, check off from Yannick. Nice. Like I said, I'm not against shared universes. I'm come from comics. I'm used to shared universes. Um, I think right now it's become kind of an obsession that I don't really understand. Marvel made their cinematic universe. They did it right. They slowly in stuff out. They slowly built up the universe. You compare it to all these other shared universe attempts, which have tried to create everything. Basically, they try to do the Avengers right out, and they don't give time to establish. Every used to get established in Marvel was getting established in their own movie. Then you got the Avengers, and DC with their expanded universe, they were calling it. They took a long time to build it out. Or they took a short time to build it out. They right in the second movie in this universe, it was a crossover. And you can compare that to the TV universe. That built up a shared universe pretty well. Then they ran into problems because one of the shows was on a different network. Then they moved it over. Then they had to do their own version of Crisis on Infinite Earths to get everybody in the same universe, and that was a mess, kind of out of necessity. A lot of these shared universes are a mess by result because they don't do it right. So maybe if you really need to put together a shared universe, maybe do it right first. Maybe build it out correctly. Even in comics, a shared universe is something that doesn't come right out of the box. You have all these characters having their own individual lives, then they start crossing over together. And building a shared universe takes time. And Marvel, with their cinematic universe, took that time. All the various comic shared universes took that time. And I don't think anybody wants to take time to do it right. And here comes the air conditioner, which is okay timing because I'm almost done. So, but if you're starting your own comic, which a lot of us aren't Soundoff coming from comics, don't start off going, I want to create this huge shared universe with all these different characters. Like, first off, unless you're starting your own comic company, it's kind of may not completely be necessary. You can do like a semi-anthology thing with all these various heroes that happen to share a universe. But to create this the huge crossover thing, first you have to establish your characters and make them interesting and make folks want to partake in this universe. Because at first, start off with one project, one project, see that through, then bring up a second one, then bring up a third. One of our own Art Soundoff participants, Jersey Droz, has kind of a shared universe with Boulder and Fleet, and then Pickles and Taft. They share a universe, and they kind of retroactively share with another story that he did about a couple of late-brain fish wrestlers. But he's not trying to push Little Hamilton into that shared universe, which is a world of sentient hams. No, I don't know how that works. But he doesn't, his big comic is The Front, and he has stuff like Silver on the Periodic Forces. They're not sharing a universe. And they're not sharing a universe with Boulder and Fleet. So I think if you're going to do don't do a shared universe because you want to do a shared universe. Do a shared universe because you have all these great characters that would be interesting to have interact together. Because once again, just like everything else, the story is paramount. The story is the most important detail. A shared universe does not work if the stories are not good. If you want to do a story about a superhero team, that's fine, but you better be able to establish them all pretty well. I don't think you're automatically going to pull off Justice League of America or an Avengers or an Ultra Force, because those all took time before they became what they are. I hope I've made my case there. Let me get this up and let's try and get the schedule back on track, including when the Art Soundoff is supposed to be posted. But until then, if you want to check out the other Art Soundoff participants, go to Twitter, look for the hashtag Art Soundoff, click on latest, and see who else is participating. If you may decide you may want to join in and make your own thoughts known on these things, and the comments just won't be enough for you, go to leantoart.com/artsoundoff and check out more, my written ramblings. Go to bwspotlight.com. So hopefully I can get back on my posting schedule. And until then, I wish you all happy creating.